Blog Talk Radio.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe, and I am back at it again. I'm back at it again, man. Listen, we have quite a bit to discuss. Jets and the Browns played a preseason game, okay, last night. Boy, oh boy, isn't it exciting? Football is back, okay? And I'm hyped. Are you guys fired up or what, man? Are you guys Come on. I'm hyped up, all right? So we're going to be discussing that. We're going to be discussing some of the things that we saw from the game, some of the guys that stood out, and, you know, how we're feeling about it, okay? We'll also get to the callers again. Line is open, 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in, and when you call in, be patient. We will get to the lines we want to speak to people, okay? So let me go ahead and get into the show because I'm fired up. Listen, I am the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. All right? I really, really do. I appreciate all the feedback as well. For those of you that do not know, I'm also on Twitter as well. Go on over to Twitter, okay? Type in @The Long Beach Joe, @The Long Beach Joe, okay? Follow. I'll follow you right back, and let's go back and forth, all right? Also, your boy is on iTunes as well. Go on over to iTunes, okay? Type in The Long Beach Joe Show, The Long Beach Joe Show on iTunes, okay? Subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a 5-star rating. And let me know what you folks think about what I'm doing here, all right? You can leave me some feedback on there as well, and I greatly appreciate all of the feedback that is given to your boy. I do. But, again, leave your boy a 5-star rating, okay? Leave it up and let me know what's going on, all right? For those of you that do not know as well, salutes to all the savages in the chat, all right? Listen here. There's some people that pop on, they hear the show, right? They hear me on Blog Talk Radio. For those of you, you know, that listen to me on Blog Talk Radio, blogtalkradio.com/Long Beach Joe Show. All right, for those of y'all that do that, sometimes they pop in and catch your boy on YouTube. Yo, we live stream the show, okay? We live stream the show on YouTube. We've been doing this, okay? And let me tell you something. When you slide in on YouTube, you see your boy, all right? I got everything set up. The setup's beautiful. Everything's looking good. And people be like, dang, Joe, you know, we like your takes. We like hearing about what you think. We love discussing the Jets with you. We love hearing your takes. We didn't know you were so handsome. Listen, ladies, thank you. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. I'm not an arrogant guy. You know, I'm just working with what I got here. And if the ladies love it, I love the ladies, all right? So I want to thank you for all you saying I'm so handsome, and thank you for enjoying my show and all the takes. But let me tell you something. When you come over here, you better beware, okay? Beware when you enter my show on YouTube, okay? Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube, because you will be running into my chat, and I call my chat the Savages. You want to know why? Because they're savage. Listen, my chat gets after it, man. They don't care who you are. They don't care where you're from, what you're about, nothing. If they don't like your takes, okay, they're going to let you know what time it is, okay? And nobody is safe. Not even me. Not even me, okay? So beware when you come over here. You know, they're nice people, but they're very passionate about football. They're very passionate about this team, and they want their take. Salutes to all the Savages. I see you. Mo Dean salutes. He says, football is back, and the Jets will win another 8 to 9 games. We'll see. We'll see. It's looking better than that, all right? Arizona Jets salutes. Good to see you in here. Edward Stewart salutes. Good to see you in here as well. Savages. Going back and forth, all right? And I'll come to y'all in a second. Put your questions in the chat. I will come to you, okay? And I will answer your question. Keep in mind, I'm one man, all right? But I will come to y'all, and I do read questions from the Savages live during the show. So just know when you come on over to YouTube, okay, again, type in Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. Subscribe, hit that notification bell so when I post content, you'll be in the know. And please give the stream, the videos, anything you're checking out, a thumbs up so, it helps the algorithm. Please give the stream a thumbs up right now, live. Helps the algorithm, all right? Helps me get out there, all right? Also, share it across social media with your friends and your family. I always love interacting with people that way as well. People catch me and check out the show there. So, listen, it's time to get into it, okay? And I'm fired up. Again, lines are hot, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking live callers. Hold on just 1 second, callers. Just give me 1 second, couple minutes, and we're going to go straight to the lines because I want to hear from the people, okay? Now, listen here. The Jets and Browns, all right, had a Hall of Fame game, preseason game. All right, we're going to discuss it. Jets did lose to the Browns 16-21. I know there were some Jets fans that were upset about it. To be honest, I don't really care. I'm just going to break that right off the bat. I don't really care that we lost the game. It's just a preseason game to me. It was more about, right, watching the players go out there and put their best foot forward, watching guys go out there, get some snaps, and see what they had, all right? Now, when I was watching this game, there were some very impressive things that I saw, and I want to start with the Jets offense because I think that was kind of the biggest question about this team coming in to this upcoming preseason game, especially questions like Zach Wilson, right? That's one of the biggest question marks on the team. A lot of people looking at him saying, hey, what is he going to look like? He's coming back from that horrific year he had last season, a lot of crazy stuff. He lost his confidence. He was looking just a mess out there, right? Couldn't get things together. Can he rebound from that? What is he going to look like now? Well, Zach Wilson came out. He was 3 for 5, right? 65 yards throwing the football. He led 2 drives that ended in field goals, so that was 6 points for him, right? I thought that Zach Wilson looked good. I really did. I thought he made smart throws. And the big thing for me is he didn't force anything, right? Last season, we saw him force footballs where they did not belong, which turned into interceptions. That's kind of been his thing before. And he just played within the confines of the offense. So I really like what he brought to the table. His first drive, he tried to move and shake. It ended on a 3rd down. He was trying to get outside the pocket. He ended up slipping and falling, which happens, right? But then he was able to rebound, come out, and get some really quality throws out there. One of them was a 57-yard bomb to Malik Taylor. And let me tell you something. Zach Wilson, when he's throwing that football deep, when you see him drop back and just let it rock, bro, those deep balls look effortless. It does not look like he's trying that hard to throw that deep at all. He just lets it rip, which tells you what? This guy has all the physical tools that it takes to make it in the league. I keep telling people this. He has it. He has all the physical tools to make it. He can make the throws. We saw that last season. There were throws that he was making last season, stuff across his body and late that you shouldn't be able to get in there, but because his arm is so strong and he's so athletic, right, he was able to do that. It's the upstairs stuff that we've always worried about with Zach Wilson. Can he properly read the defense? Can he define what's happening out there so that he can make the proper adjustments? Can he get it together quickly that way? And through that, right, working within the pocket, can he do that? That's a mental game. Even Aaron Rodgers has talked about that as well with him. Understanding how to win from inside the pocket, that's a lot of mental stuff. Recognizing defenses, understanding where guys are, where they're going to come from. Where's the pressure coming from? Are they sending a blitz? Are they not sending a blitz? What kind of coverages are they in? What kind of matchups do I have as the New York Jets starting quarterback that I could take advantage of right now in this second, right? That's been Zach's biggest problem, is identifying those things and taking advantage of them. I thought he played solidly, though. And to me, he's taking his steps. He looked clean. He was concise, very, very nice with the football and let it rip. So I like what he did out there. And even after the game, he talked about how, he's growing. He even talked about how Aaron Rodgers is helping him along and that Aaron Rodgers doesn't have to help him along, but he does it, and he's very appreciative of it. So I thought that Zach looked good. Can't wait to continue to see him out there. And, again, he's the guy that's battling for that number 2 spot, the second quarterback spot. Like I said, I think he looks good. Tim Boyle as well. I thought he looked solid as well, okay? The thing I like about Tim Boyle is how quickly he gets the ball out of his hands. He reminds me a lot of Mike White from that aspect, right? Tim Boyle drops back, and he's made a decision about 2 seconds, and it is gone. It is gone, all right? So, I like what Tim Boyle did out there. Then you look at the New York Jets offensive line. Let me tell you something. That boy Becton was out there, okay? That boy Becton was out there. Now, before the game, there was talks that he was 20 to 25 snaps, that he was out there 20 to 25 snaps, okay? But turns out that didn't happen because he pulled himself from the game. And I'm going to let you folks hear what he had to say about the situation of why he only played, I think it was 7 snaps, okay? Go ahead and listen to this from Becton. There you have it, right? He was feeling it a little bit for the game. We know that he's coming back from that knee injury, right? Still trying to get it together, get some strength within that knee. And he was feeling it a little bit before. We know that the ground in there, the turf, that was a situation. We saw guys slipping and moving and stuff like that. And he decided after those snaps, hey, got to play it close, play it safe. All right, again, this is a preseason game. Let's not do too much. Let me go ahead and pull myself here. And he did just that. And even Robert Saleh had a little bit to say about it as well. I'm going to let you folks hear what he had to say to the media as well. As you heard from Coach Saleh right there as well, talking about the knee situation, and he's just trying to build confidence in that knee, right? We heard, again, Mekhi Becton talk about how things weren't feeling too good. He started feeling a little tightness before the game and pulled himself after 7 snaps just to make sure. And, again, keeping in mind that even after those snaps, he did go out there, and play in special teams and stuff like that. We saw him on the field goal unit too. So I'll tell you what, even though we didn't see 20 to 25 snaps from Mekhi Becton, the snaps that we did see him out there, he was very solid, okay? I'm talking about very solid. He looked physically dominant out there. He was pushing guys around. He was yoking guys up. The pass blocking was good. His movement looked good. And I know that some people are upset because he only played, a couple snaps before he pulled himself. But I'm going to say this. It's the first preseason game. If he felt uncomfortable, right, they felt uncomfortable. The trainers as well agreed to let him sit down. I'm fine with it because it's just preseason. He still builds strength into that knee. When he was out there, though, he looked phenomenal. Why risk it? Why risk it on a field that, it's the Hall of Fame game, preseason game? Let it be, right? What we did see out of Mekhi, though, is he's rebounding. He's getting back into his true form. And I tell you what, he is going to be solid. If that knee continues to build strength and things continue to look good, he is going to be solid this upcoming season. Those snaps that we saw from Mekhi Becton, he was dominating. He was. He looks like he's getting back into his old form. And that Mekhi Becton, the Mekhi Becton we saw when he was fully healthy as a rookie, was a top tackle in this league. If Mekhi Becton can get back to that, continue to build strength up in the knee, continue to build confidence in that knee, boy, oh boy, are the New York Jets going to be in a great position, in a great situation. Because that's going to, and keep in mind, he was lined up at left tackle. The New York Jets in a position to have one of the top tackles blocking for Aaron Rodgers and making sure that he doesn't get his head taken off. That's a beautiful position to be in. So I like what I saw from Mekhi Becton in the snaps that he was out there, being cautious with the knee in the first preseason game, in a preseason game period. I'm completely fine with that. But I'm sure we'll be talking about that. Again, the lines are open, 515-602-9639, right? Tippmann, I thought was all right as well. Of course, there's some things that he can clean up, right? There's some things that he can clean up. He's a rookie center. But he went out there, did his thing. There were some question marks about the offensive line as the game continued on. But again, a lot of these guys are back up. They're getting their footing underneath themselves. Another guy as well that I thought was impressive, Izzy Adebanyakanda. Whoa. Listen here. The speed is real. This guy can move, okay? He was making some runs out there, and there were some runs where I felt like he could have hit the hole a little bit harder. He was a little hesitant at times, right? But there was a run where he had a 10-yard touchdown run where he got to the left outside and outrun this guy and hit the pylon. This kid can go, okay? He's got some burners on him. I loved what I saw from him. He had 9 carries, 27 yards. He had a catch in 5 yards as well. He's going to be doing his thing. This is a kid that can have some real impact for us in this running back room, in the mix. He could absolutely be in the mix, this upcoming season, getting carries and doing things. So this is a guy that can have some impact for us offensively off the bat. So I'm excited about Izzy. Want to continue to see him do his thing again. I just want to see him hit the hole a little bit harder sometimes. I felt like he was a little hesitant at times and missed some opportunities. But, man, when he goes, okay? But, again, he's a rookie. He's still learning his way in the NFL. First preseason came. But I'm excited about him and the talent. The wide receiver as well, as we know, our wide receiver room is, man, we've got some talent. Malik Taylor, again, had that 57-yard catch. He made a beautiful catch. Jason Brownlee as well looked good. Okay, 2 catches for 17 yards. I personally think he could have had one more, but there was a Browns defender there that kind of knocked the ball away. And then you got Alex Erickson. Alex Erickson is an extremely interesting wide receiver because not only can he give you something in the receiving game, right? He's a veteran guy. We know he was with the Bengals for years. Not only can he give us something in the receiving game, he can also give us something on special teams. This guy is a punt returner, and he was out there doing his thing. So you got to start to think how much of that is going to play into Erickson possibly being able to grab a roster spot here, the punt returning ability. It's going to be interesting. Now to move on to the defense, man. The defense was, whoa. Defense looks solid, all right? Defense went out there and did his thing early. Bryce Huff started early with a sack. Listen, Bryce Huff is one of the most underrated pass rushers in this league. He is. It was unbelievable. He's going to be a monster this upcoming year with all of the weapons that we have around him as well defensively. Man, Quinnen Williams, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, who I'll get into in a second, Carl Lawson, Quentin Jefferson. Whoa, right? We are going to be able to get after it this season, and Huff is going to be a big part of that. And I'm hyped, man. He looked really good. He killed the Browns' drive on third down. As we know, he is a third down monster. Was able to get out there and get a stop, right? So he's looking good. The Jets' defense forced 2 turnovers, a fumble and a sack. Jamin Sherwood as well, I thought looked good out there too, and that's extremely important because Jamin is a guy that's looking like he's going to be able to grab that other outside linebacker spot, which is a huge hole, especially since Quan Alexander has signed with another football team. So it looks like we're moving forward with Jamin, and I thought he was all right. He was in on a play for a forced fumble, so he's looking good, building a little bit of confidence, so we'll see what's going on there. Nesruddin got hurt. Of course, I'm sure we'll hear about his injury update soon, but he was out for the game. Zaire Barnes as well, I thought looked good out there at linebacker. Chaz Surratt had the interception. So our linebacker core is starting to shape out a little bit. I still want to see more from them because that's one of the bigger question marks on the defense. Now, Will McDonald, man, boy, did he shine. Boy, did he shine against the Browns, let me tell you. Speed is insane. He is insane, bruh. Like, he came out and put a spin move on a tackle and got around him. He didn't get the sack, but he got the hit. And that's another thing I think that people completely forget as well, is that, yeah, you would love to have your guy get the sack every time. We would love it. But sometimes that's not how it works. Sometimes just getting a QB off his spot, throwing the timing off on a play, having a QB let a ball go before he wants to because he knows if he doesn't, he's going to get his head taken off, that could absolutely disrupt a play or cause a turnover, interception. Can you imagine a quarterback seeing Will McDonald coming straight at him with a head full of steam and going, look, I'm just going to chuck this up there in Sauce's direction? That's going to get picked off. That's going to get picked off, dog. You can call that a day, right? Or DJ Reed's direction. That's going to get picked off, So I thought that Will McDonald looked good. He was moving and shaking all over the place. Even plays that were a little bit away from him, he was able to get to. This guy was getting off of blocks, and he is fast, man. He is so fast for a guy his size. I cannot wait to see him deployed this upcoming season within the defense. I'm excited about the kid, and I remember when he was drafted, I did a live draft show. Y'all can go back. And, of course, I talked to a lot of Jets fans that did not want this guy. You know, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like he was in everybody's draft board to become a New York Jet. But I tell you what, from day one, I was like, you know what, this pick makes sense. This kid can come here and do some things. And I think that he's got real great ability. His ability to get off blocks and his speed shines immediately. Whew. This Jets front is going to be something else. A guy that I thought could step it up a little bit, Eccles. He had some penalties early. He did make some plays here and there, but he's got to clean up those penalties. Another guy as well, Tony Adams. He didn't even play, which bodes well for him, right? It says a lot about where he's at. You look at the depth chart that's been put out. He's actually listed to this point as the New York Jets starting free safety. And I'm saying this because he was a guy that I thought was competing for, a spot within the depth of safety position, right? I came out and I was talking about Amos. I thought Amos would take it. But Tony Adams has shown up and shown out in camp. Sulla has talked about him constantly. All these guys have talked about him constantly. Man, let me tell you something. This guy is putting on, and I cannot wait to see what he's going to be able to bring to the Jets defense, man. It's looking like he's going to be the guy that's going to be starting at safety. Special teams, Greg Zuerlein, Greg the leg, boy, oh boy. He still got it, man. He still got it. This guy was 3 for 3. He was out there doing his thing. 54-yard field goals. He was kicking from deep often, right? Now, why am I talking about this guy? Because the New York Jets have had issues. Anybody remember Jason Myers? That was a while ago. We had him. He was a really good field goal kicker. Ever since we let him go away, we let him walk, the Jets have had issues at the kicking department, right? It's been all over the place. You can name 1,000 kickers that we have. I remember one season we had like 4 or 5, maybe 6 kickers in and out, missing field goals, stuff like that, right? Special teams can cost you. Field goal kickers, not making that kick when you need them the most will cost you. You can lose that way. You can win that way as well. Look at the Patriots. They've won Super Bowls, you know what I'm saying, off of the leg. So it's good to see Greg Zuerlein step in here, look great. I can't wait to see him going into the season as well. And Xavier Gibson, 45-yard kick return. And, again, Erickson has some great punt returns as well. So our special teams look like things are shaping out. It's going to be very interesting to see who's able to grab those spots at kick returner and punt returner. That could be a big thing that can keep a guy on the roster, special teams and what they can bring there. So we're going to get to these lines again, 515-602-9639, 515-602-9639. Again, when you call in, please be patient. We'll get to everybody. Trust. Okay, new callers, please make sure that your phone lines are good, so when you call in, I'll be able to hear you. Understand when you call in, I can see you, okay? I can physically see you. I have the queue system. So don't call in and hang up. Call in and hang up. It'll put you at the bottom of the system, okay? Also, there's no cursing on my show. Don't call into my show cursing. It's a family show, okay? You call into my show cursing, I'm going to have to get you out of here fast. I'm talking fast. Faster than we got Elijah Moore out of here. Faster than we got Denzel Mims out of here. That was fast, man. Whew, he was fast. Faster than we got Adam Gase out of here. Good Lord. Man, I'm having a lot of fun. All right. I'm so glad Gase is no longer the New York Jets head coach. Oh, Lord. Glad Mike McCagnon is gone, too. Jeez Louise. Again, 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Again, please give the stream a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you'll be in the know. Also, again, throw your questions, savages, in the chat, okay? I'll come to y'all. We got callers, but believe me, I'll come to you in between the callers. I'm only one man, okay, but I'll get to everybody's questions. I love to interact with all the savages in the chat. Please share the stream across your social media. You want to give to the platform, Super Chat is up there. And anything you give to the platform is greatly appreciated. Cash App is at the bottom of the screen. If that's the way you like to give to the platform as well, that's greatly appreciated. So we're going to get to these lines again, 515-602-9639, 602-9639 is the number. Call in. First caller, I got to go to my guy, Brick City. Brick City, I'm coming directly to you. Ted, new callers as well. We'll come to you in a second, all right? But we got to go to Brick City. Listen, before I let Brick City talk, just know, that man Brick City, he's a savage. Brick City salutes. It's good to speak with you, man. We haven't talked in a little bit. I apologize. I remember the last time I was trying to get you on. I know you had to go. Browns, Jets had a preseason game.
What's going on, Joe? I'm just been going through a nasty divorce. That's why you haven't heard from me for a while, my brother. But that's another story for another day. We're talking about our favorite team, the New York Jets. You know what I mean?
Yes, we are.
I didn't catch the whole preseason game yesterday because I was helping a friend move. But from what I'm seeing, I'm starting to like what I'm liking on defense. The pass rush is going to be phenomenal. Will McDonald is already showing what type of pass rusher he can be. And all he needs is, a little bit more tooling. And I got, as of right now, my comparison to him is Josh Allen from the Jaguars. And I think he'll be a little bit better than that. He has the pass rush. He has the skill. He just got to add a little bit more weight and do a little bit better in coverage because he can play standing up and with his hand in the dirt alongside JFM and Big Quentin and Jermaine Johnson, who I feel is going to have an epic sophomore year. I'm happy. Zach Wilson looked it pretty good, especially with that bomb downfield. He was clean in the pocket. I wish he played a little bit more. Hopefully he play a little bit more in the second game. I believe we have the Titans next, I believe. I got to check the schedule. I know we played Saturday the 12th, though, because, it's my birthday. It's my birthday week, so I'm excited to finally, see football. Football is back. I'm hungry, man, and I'm hungry for a championship. And, there's a lot of doubters in the media. Good, doubters, all you want to. Because when we hold that Lombardi testing in February, I don't want to hear nothing about the Jets ever as a bad franchise because I can count on my hand right now franchises that we're better than. Chargers as a franchise, better than. Houston, do not see more. Jacksonville, better than. Tennessee Titans, we're better than. Better than the Vikings as a franchise. The Browns.
Okay. Okay. Well, listen, hold on a second. Hold on a second, Brick City. Listen, I hear you. And I know you're fired up about the football team as well, and you're impressed with some of the things that you talked about. I want to address as well. Some of the things that you saw. Will McDonald, like you said as well, I think is phenomenal. You saw the speed. You saw the ability to get off blocks. You saw him making impact. Even plays that were going away from him, he was able to beat his guy and be in the area and make, some type of impact on those plays. And especially when you saw that spin move that he put on that tackle to get around and cause that QB to release the ball and it was off target. I love what he brought to the table, man. So I really like that.
Yeah,
my question for you is this.
It reminded me of Fling from the Colts, that spin move. It reminded me of that.
Listen, I don't want to, those are big names. I love Will. I'm waiting to see what he brings to the table. But I tell you what, my hopes are high for him as well. This kid is showing up and showing out. But my question for you is this, right? There's been a lot of talk about Mekhi Becton, right? He comes into this game. We thought 20 to 25 snaps. He only played 7 snaps, but he goes out there and looks good. Give me your thoughts on his performance, or are you a Jets fan that is upset that he took himself out because he was feeling a little awkward on that knee?
No. We need a healthy Mekhi Becton. I think he's at the point. He's not a veteran, but at this point in his career, he's a veteran. For him to protect himself, knowing that he needs the money for the extension, first and foremost, so he has to stay healthy. If any Jet fan is upset, they got to understand it's preseason. It's going to take some time to guys to gel, and we need to protect our guys. We have, for the last 4 years, if I'm correct, we have been having very bad luck with injuries. So Mekhi Becton, who had 2 knee injuries, and he wanted to protect himself, and so he can play and protect Aaron Rodgers, I don't see no problem with that.
Okay. Yeah, listen. I'm right there as well. I just know that there's a lot of Jets fans who are upset. I think in the snaps that he was out there, he showed that he was very, very dominant. He was throwing guys around and putting things together. Now, my final question for you, Brick, because you've been bringing the heat, man. You look at Zach Wilson, the work that he did when he went out there, 3 for 5, 65 yards throwing the football, 57-yard bomb. Give me your thoughts on what we're seeing out of him. Is this a guy that you think we can see really grow and evolve within this offense?
I see. Well, Zach Wilson for the last couple years has been great in the preseason, but this is a different Zach Wilson that I'm seeing. He's more comfortable in the pocket. He's not having happy feet. He doesn't look at his first read and throw. So having Aaron Rodgers and having Hackett and the new offensive staff, him sitting for a year or two, I think will be tremendous for his career, and I think he'll have a bounce back. Zach Wilson's issue was always in between the ears, and once he got the tools, he can throw, and he just got to work on his accuracy, work on the mental side of the game, and once he get it click, and when it's time for him to show up and show out, trust and believe, mark my words, we have a franchise quarterback.
Okay.
If he can do those things. If he can do those things. Franchise quarterback.
Listen, Brick City, before I let you go, and 520, we're coming to you next. Ted, everybody else, hold on. Listen, give me a guy that you're keeping your eyes on for this next upcoming preseason game. We're going to be playing the Panthers next. So who is the guy on the roster you're keeping your eyes on that you want to see if they're going to show up and show out?
Bryce Huff. That's who I'm looking for. Bryce Huff had a decent showing. I don't want Bryce Huff to be traded, but in hindsight, if there is, let's say we have enough at pass rush, right? And let's say we might need a corner or an extra safety or even an extra weapon for Aaron Rodgers, I'm willing to make that sacrifice for us to win, even if it's saving money for Dalvin Cook, even though he visited us. I think he's playing us on the low so he can get on Hard Knocks, because if you're here, you're at the Jeff facility, bro, we get this ring, my guy. That's all. I mean, it's a family show. Get this ring, my guy. You got Aaron Rodgers. You could have went anywhere. You could have went to Kansas City. Everybody would have blew that up. Oh, Kansas City. He could have went to Buffalo. Same thing with Buffalo. Oh, Buffalo's going to Super Bowl. Even if you'd have went down with Miami, and I think Miami is a threat if they have a real legit quarterback. Even if they have a competent quarterback, I'm worried about Tua and his health, and that will dictate the Dolphins season, because I truly believe the AFC East right now is the best division in football outside the NFC North, because anybody can go to the playoffs. Everybody's saying that New England is down and out. Until that happens, they're still a threat. They are still a threat. I still believe that they are.
No, listen, I tell people all the time I would never count the Patriots out until it's over. Until they're mathematically eliminated from anything and everything, I'll never say that the Patriots are out of it. I think they're far too well coached to ever call them out of it. The Bills are, as we know, are a very good football team, and the Dolphins have made a lot of, have gotten a lot of players, have acquired quite a bit of talent, and so they're a team that's on the rise as well. But you're speaking facts, so we'll see what happens as we continue to go forward. Listen, Brick City, I got to slide off. I got other callers. I want to thank you for calling in. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right?
Definitely, brother. I'm going to try to make it JETS, Jets. Let's go. I'm loving the throwback. And let's win the Super Bowl, baby. Let's win the Super Bowl. Let's go. Gangrene for life, man.
Let's go. Listen, again, I want to thank Brick City for calling in. Keep everybody, 515-602-9639. That's the number. Keep calling in. We will get to everybody. Arizona Jet in the chat, Savage, says, what do you think of Jason Brownlee yesterday? I thought we would have did more. 2 catches. I think he had 2 catches, 17 yards. He was looking good out there. He was handling his business. He had a catch on a drive. I think the catch happened before Izzy actually ran in that touchdown. So Jason looked all right. Of course, we're going to continue to see. I understand you want to see more. I think he could have came up with one more football There was a Browns defender there, but I thought that he should have been able to grab it and bring that in. But, again, we're seeing Jason really put on a camp and look good. Of course, like you said as well, we hope to see more out of him, but I thought he looked all right. Edward Stewart in the chat as well, another Savage, says Greg Zuerlein, Zarat, Zach Wilson, Pittman, Bryce Huff, and Becton held his own. Yeah, they all look good. They all held their own. That's a fact. So, Savages in the chat, keep on putting your questions in there. We'll come to you, all right? Be patient. We got to get back to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking our callers next. We're going to area code 520. 520, we're coming directly to you. Give me your name, where you're from, and give me your thoughts about what you saw out of Zach Wilson in yesterday's game against the Browns. How'd you feel? Area code 520.
Oh.
Going once.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
520. Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, I didn't even know it was on. My bad.
Yeah.
I'm Frankie, man. I'm from Tucson, Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the first time calling in. First time calling in. So, yeah, man, I don't know really how I felt about the game. After the first quarter, it was kind of like, they took Zach Wilson out. I thought they would have played him at least 2 quarters. Really surprised that they took him out right away. I feel like that was a disservice to him. So I was kind of disappointed with that. And, yeah, I mean, I don't think you really need to see anything from Boyle. I think you should have had Zach Wilson in there for at least the first half.
Well, I'll tell you what, Frankie. I hear what you're saying, right? And I understand it, but I think they're looking at Zach, right? They put him out there. He threw some balls and he looked pretty good. I thought he showed some improvement, right? 3 of 5, 65 yards. He had a 57-yard bomb. You could see him go out there reading. He was reading the defense. You could see him moving his eyes. He made some quality throws as well. I thought that we saw growth and improvement out of Zach, and I think we also need to keep in mind, we're all fans. We all want to see more of all the players, but this is just the first preseason game. They're still working in kind of, ticks and stuff within the offense. They're still learning things. So I thought it was good that they pulled him out a little bit early, allowed Tim Boyle to go out there, and I saw some things from Tim Boyle that I thought he looked good, right? He went out there, got the ball.
Yeah, he's kind of like Mike White. He's real fast.
Yeah, he is. And we saw Strebler out there as well. Strebler didn't look as good as he's looked in the past. I will say that. But again, it's the first preseason game, right?
I stopped watching the game probably like after the second quarter, and I was like, yeah, I heard it got real bad. I heard Strebler did not look good at all. He can't really throw the ball.
He was a little different.
He doesn't have arm strength. I don't know what are these guys doing on the roster then? Like, you think that they got to go and get somebody to compete with Zach Wilson. That's the way I feel. Because, like, if you have Tim Boyle and he's just like, he's kind of a Mike White type player, can he win you a game if Aaron Rodgers gets his, ankle twisted? Or, Strebler's just, he shouldn't even be on the roster. He shouldn't even be.
I think what happens, honestly, is I think that Tim Boyle being here is a great pickup. Tim Boyle is also a veteran of the system. He was with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. He understands what Nathaniel Hackett wants. He understands everything about the system. I think that Tim Boyle is a solid option as a backup if need be. But to me, it's looking more and more like Zach might actually be the number 2 guy. But again, Tim Boyle's going out there and firing things around. Like you said, he's getting the ball out of his hands quickly. He's very Mike White-like in that. And that ability alone can put things together. So I do like the quarterback situation that we have here, of course, with Aaron Rodgers being the starter and having our 2 backups, I think is solid. But my question for you is we go over to this offensive line, we look at this situation. Becton, a lot of 20 to 25 snaps was the expectation, right? He only plays a handful of snaps because of the knee. Give me your thoughts about Becton in this line situation, man. Are you upset with him pulling himself out the game because he was a little, hesitant about that knee in the situation on the turf?
Like, I'm normally like a pessimist at heart. Like, and honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, like watching the game yesterday, like a lot of people were happy that football's back or whatever, but like watching the game, it just felt very underwhelming. Like, I thought Jason Lee would have had better numbers, and I thought just as a whole, like when I watched Becton and he didn't take all the snaps that he could have taken because his knee was not feeling good. This guy has been out of football for 2 years, and yet he's still having knee issues. I don't understand if he's going to be able to get back to full form, or maybe his knee is just gone. It's just shot, and he's just not going to be good again. Like, maybe it's too early to say. The way I feel is like, can he come back and can he play full games? Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
None of us have seen it for 2 years.
Yeah. No, listen, Frankie, and I hear you. Here's my thing, right? We know that he went in, had the correct surgery. We know that he's in great physical shape. He's also in great mental space as well. I think that Becton and Sulla talked about it. The audio was earlier. Sulla talked about him building confidence within that knee, right? That's what they're doing. They're building confidence within the knee. He's getting stronger and stronger every day. The snaps that we saw out there, he was dominant. Now, I will say this. I don't want him out there. Again, it's the first preseason game. It's just a preseason game, right? I don't want to see him out there if he does not feel confident in the knee as far as continuing forward, especially with the condition of that field, okay? I think, again, we're seeing him build strength in the knee, and I think he's going to be able to rebound from this situation. Because when he was out there,
I respect what he did.
He looked phenomenal, Frankie. He looked phenomenal. He was literally dominating guys out there and throwing them around. So I think that Becton is going to be able to rebound again. We'll see as things continue forward, but I do understand why people are hesitant because he hasn't played in 2 years. But everything's starting to line up where he's regaining. And again, you got to keep. I think everybody's got to keep in mind that's a knee surgery. Like he dislocated the kneecap, and he came before that. He had blew up his knee. Then he came back and fractured the kneecap year 2. So he's got to heal up from that. But again, everything about him has been pointing north. And again, if the trainers are coming out and saying, hey, let's pull him. Let's sit him down a little bit. He's been practicing. He's been looking good. His movement has been looking good. I have no issues with him pulling himself from a game. The trainers as well agree to pull him from the game because the turf is a little shoddy. And he doesn't want to get in a situation where, that knee's flaring up and crazy. They expect him back at practice, so everything's looking good. So I understand your hesitancy, but I'm excited about him going forward. Now, my final question for you, Frankie, because you've been bringing some heat, man. Will McDonald was extremely impressive in my mind, man. He looked like he was out there just flying around making plays. How do you feel about him?
Oh, man. I like that play where he thought, that they would bite on the running back, and he stayed where he was at to chase down Mond. He almost got him, man. He almost got him on that sack. This guy is fast. Like, super fast.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people are questioning Pittman and a lot of people are questioning McDonald. These guys aren't even, going to be starters. They're rotational players. They wasted these picks. You can't see it that way, though. It's like I said, there's a lot of Jets fans that are, pessimists, and they're not really seeing the full picture a lot of the time. When you're telling people to calm down and you're an optimist. I could tell you're an optimist, and you're you got to, trust the process, And JD, people – I think JD deserves credit, and he deserves our patience right now. So for them to draft McDonald, and you see him, and this guy's just flashing, man. This guy's going to be, incredible. And you look at that defense, all these players are contributing, and I'm excited to see all of these guys play, man. Like McDonald, JJ is going to be awesome this year, and just the rotation, and the rotation is going to be fresh all game.
Yep.
So I'm excited, man. I think McDonald's going to be big time, man.
Yeah. No, listen, you're talking facts. Listen, Frankie, I got to slide off. I got other callers. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right, my friend?
Oh, yeah, for sure, man, yeah.
Absolutely. You have a good one. Listen, Frankie called in with some heat. I understand. Everybody's concerned, right? People call me an optimist. I'm a realist, okay? I'm a realist because if you're trash, I'm going to tell you're trash, okay? Trust. I'm the first guy to tell you you're bad, all right? If you're bad, I'm going to let you know about it, all right? I'm going to let you know, okay? I'm going to let you know, and then I'm going to immediately flush you. That's what I do. But I'm a realist, right? So I I let things play out. Often, and again, I apply logic to a lot of things too. Becton's been looking good, man. He's been looking good in practice. He's taking his steps. And that strength is growing in that knee day by day. The confidence is growing day by day. You see it. He's smiling. He's up on the podium talking about, I don't care. Hey, look, I'll play right tackle. I just want to be out there. I'm confident. I'm ready. He's lining up at left tackle. That's where he was at. And when you snap the ball, he is manhandling people, okay? So I understand But I want to hear all perspectives, okay? Listen, 515-602-9639, 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking our callers again. Savages in the chat, please, put your questions in there. They're going back and forth talking. SG, I see you. We'll come to you in a second. We got to get back to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Please give the stream a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so when I post content, you'll be in the know. Next, we're going to go to my guy, Ted. Ted, we're coming to directly to you. Perry, we'll be coming to you next. Ronald, we'll be coming to you next. We got to come to Ted. Listen, for those of you that do not know, that man, Ted, he's a savage. Listen, Ted, salutes, man. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. We're talking that talk. Ted. I already know you got some takes you ready to bring. Jets, Browns, Hall of Fame game. I want to start on the defensive side of the football with you, man. What player impressed you the most for the New York Jets defensively in that game against the Browns?
Bit of a snooze fest, Joe. I got it through a quarter and a half of the game, and I think I was just penaltied out. And, there's so many ridiculous illegal formations and roughing the personal fouls on the Jets. I was like, oh, come on, man. The player that on defense, really, I don't think anyone really stood out, but you could see the flashes from McDonald. I saw that Jermaine Johnson looks a lot bigger than he was last year.
Yeah,
and
Jermaine Johnson
obviously
was good too.
Yeah, and obviously Clemens is too. Huff had a sack. The gentleman who spoke about trading Huff, I don't think I'd trade him yet. You may need him this year. This is the year we try to make a run, and we have this rotational pass rush. But go ahead, Joe. I'd say it was a defensive, not a defensive masterpiece, but at least a defensive effort. Go ahead, Joe.
No, listen, I'm not in the whole trade Huff thought process.
Party.
I'm not with that. I would like to see him stay on this football team simply because the New York Jets, here's what blows my mind when I talk to Jets fans about this situation here. For years, the New York Jets defense suffered not having pass rush. Anybody remember that? Because I remember it like it was. I remember going to a Jets game against Seattle and watching Russell Wilson have 40 years to throw the football. And his knee was jacked up in that game. I remember it like it was yesterday. His knee was jacked up, and he was just dropping back at will. And I think he threw for over 300 yards. I forgot what year this was. But he threw for over 300 yards against the Jets, and we couldn't get to him at all because we lacked pass rush. We lacked the ability to get after the quarterback. And for so many years, right, our defense suffered. Look at this situation. I think it was like 2 years ago we were 32nd in the league. We were near the bottom of the league. We couldn't get to anybody. We had no pass rush. We had nothing. We were literally at the bottom of the league. And then the next year, our defense jumps from 32nd to 4th. Well, what changed dramatically about the defense? Well, we acquired Sauce, DJ Reed, and we got C.J. Mosley back. Quentin Williams stepped up. It was pass rush that also greatly impacted the New York Jets jump forward. Carl Lawson came back. He gave us 7 sacks. We saw Bryce Huff activate as well and get going. We saw, Quentin Williams gave us 12 sacks this season. That is pass rush. When you look around this league, okay, when you look around the league, even low-level pass rushers that barely give you anything get paid in free agency. I'm talking big money in free agency. Why? Because pass rushers are premium in this league. They don't grow on trees. And when you get a guy, if you get him, rarely do you ever see a team let him go. And even if they do let him go, when they hit the free agency market, they usually get overpaid from what they actually should be getting paid. Because getting to the quarterback in today's game is extremely important. It's extremely important because it's a passing league, right? If you don't have somebody to chase Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Herbert, whoever else we're going to face in the AFC, we will lose. We're going to lose, right? We're going to lose. And so that's what blows my mind when I hear about Jets fans talking about trading away pass rush. And I'm like, whoa. We're talking about winning, not me in particular, but Jets fans as a whole have Super Bowl expectations. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Let's go, Joe.
Okay.
Here we go.
I mean, I didn't want to put you in there. They said I am. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, listen. Ted, along with other fans as well, have Super Bowl aspirations, okay? Listen, if you want to get to the Super Bowl, you better have somebody to chase around and kill all these quarterbacks that's going to be out here. And I'm just talking about guys in the AFC, right? I just mentioned a couple guys in the AFC. I didn't even mention all the other guys that we're going to face, right? Hurts and Dak Prescott, and you can go on a litany of other quarterbacks that can, not only guys that can throw, but can move and run, right?
True.
That can get away.
True.
So you better have somebody to chase those guys and get those guys down, or you're going to be done. As of right now, okay, the Super Bowl runs through Kansas City. As of right now, that's how it goes. I'm sorry to bust anyone's bubble, but as of right now, the road to the Super Bowl runs through Kansas City. When is the last time that we saw Patrick Mahomes look like a human being on a football field? It was when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was on him like white on rice. It was when JPP and Shaq Barrett were all over him, and he couldn't even think without seeing one of those guys in his face, right? That's what pass rush will do to a quarterback. That's what happens when you have guys that can come screaming off of the edge, right? Look at the past. We can just keep talking. Look at the past. The Giants, they won Super Bowls doing what? Sending waves of pass rushers at people. Eli Manning, solid quarterback, but Osi Umenyiora, Michael Strahan, and a boatload of other guys, boy, oh boy, you knew that they were coming to town, and they were smoking people. That's the impact of pass rush. So this idea, right, and I can keep going on, right? You look at Sulla, come from the Niners. I know some of y'all don't, maybe you don't watch the Niners. I do. I live on the West Coast. I'm forced. If you think it's just Bosa that they have over there rushing the passer, let me tell you it's not. They have a host of other guys. Fred Warner, they have I'm telling you, I know those guys. I watch them. Various other guys that get after the passer, you just don't talk about them as much. That's how Sulla and them had that defense screaming over there. Because if it was just Bosa, when Bosa went down, the defense would have died. No, there's other guys over there that he was sending at you, and they were destroying you. Getting pressure with your front four, especially with the rotation of pass rushers that we have here, is extremely important in a passing league. The two teams that were in the Super Bowl, right, the two teams that have won Super Bowls recently, Eagles last year had 70 sacks. I think the second team to that in the league was the Eagles had 70, and I think Kansas City had 55. You guys can look this up. Is it a wonder that they were in the Super Bowl? Is that a coincidence? No, it's not. They get to the passer. What did the Eagles do? They read up on defense in the draft. They went and got Nolan. They went and got Carter. Right?
They just go to Georgia.
Doing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep hitting on this point because I don't want to take up too much time because I want to hear from you. But look at the Bills, right? The Bills' defense was already phenomenal. It was already phenomenal. What did they do? They said they looked around and said, we need to add something up. Yep, they went and got Von Miller. That's exactly what they did. And people were like, why the heck would you go get Von Miller? Because they got to deal with Patrick Mahomes. You think they stupid? I'm going to kill you. I'm going to go get another guy. So talking about trading away pass rush, in my personal opinion, right, as a Jets fan, as a football fan, as a guy that watches the rest of the league, to me, it don't make a lot of sense. Because I know that road to the Super Bowl is paved with quarterbacks that are ready to go to work. And if you cannot chase them, if you cannot get them off their spot, if you cannot kill them, they will kill you. It is very kill or be killed in this league, okay? And so watching this team go for years without having a pass rush and then having a litany of guys that we can throw at people, I actually want more, okay? I want more. I love Will McDonald. I'm waiting to get him into the fold as well and get him going. But, bruh, I'm not trading Huff. Give me your thoughts on it. I don't want to go on too long of a rant, but give me your thoughts on that, sis.
Hey, Joe, a couple of things. I was even interested in Yannick Ngakoue before he signed with the Bears. I mean, the more the merrier. But another thing, too, Joe, that we didn't do well last year that this kind of defense can do if we improve is we couldn't turn the ball over. and our defense was on the field for so long because of our inadequate offense, we couldn't. I mean, I'm sure we got fatigued at some point. Maybe at the end of the year. Maybe that's why we slid so much at the end of the year and we started that losing streak, besides the quarterback, is that I'm sure our defense was on the field, 35, 40 minutes a game, trying to 3-and-out every quarterback they could try. If you have now you have a competent quarterback and you have probably an improved defense. I know our schedule is tough, but you have, if you can get these turnovers going, which we probably were at the bottom of the league, and you have the supreme quarterback play we're going to get, we're going to be solid, Joe. That's why I'm pretty confident we can make a pretty good run.
You know what's crazy, Ted? No, you're speaking facts. And to even, I want to build on that because I have a take as well, and I think a lot of people don't think about this. The New York Jets offense last season was atrocious, so atrocious. We had 6 games left in that season. If we would have won one of them, right, we'd have been in the playoffs. 6 games. We went on a 6-game losing streak, and in 3 of those games, we didn't even score a touchdown. You know the New York Jets were 29th in points per game last season? That's insane. We finished 31st in the NFL with a red zone touchdown rate, I think it was like 43% or something like that. That is insane. We had issues finishing in the red zone. And this is just to bring my point home, right? You go back and you look at that game against the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings were thought to be a Super Bowl contending team, right, last season. We went to the red zone 6 times against the Vikings, 6, scored once. That's insane, right? If you look at last year's team, if you place Aaron Rodgers on that team, and we playing against the Vikings, I think we score at least 4 to 5 touchdowns, right? Easily. Out of those 6 trips, I think we get 4 to 5 scores, right? Now think about this. The way that teams are going to have to play us, now that we have Aaron Rodgers and a competent offense that's going to finish drive with points, they're going to have to adjust their offensive game plan. They're not going to be able to run the ball and drain the clock. No, they're going to be playing from behind. So what does that mean? They're going to have to throw. So if you have to throw, what does that mean? I get to pin my ears back and let my wave of pass rushers eat you alive. That's why the pick of Will McDonald makes more sense. I said this. That's why it makes sense to me. And that's why trading away pass rushers makes no sense, because they will be deployed this season, because we're going to be up in a lot of these games, and a lot of teams are going to have to change what they do, and that's going to play into what we're going to be doing well. Because now we're going to beat the hell out of you the same way that you guys used to beat the hell out of us. It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, okay? So that I just, again, I don't understand. Talking about trading pass rushers is not my thing, right? Keep him on the team. I want to see what he brings here. And pass rush is extremely important. Even when people were talking about getting rid of Carl Lawson, I was like, are you insane? That's crazy to me. And Sulla said it as well on a podium. He said pass rushers don't grow on trees. He's going to be on the roster. He said this early. He's going to be on the roster. I don't know what y'all talking about, but he's going to be on the roster, right? So just to wrap this up, because I'm going on a rant, Ted. I'm going to lose.
It's all right, Joe. You have it's your show, Joe.
I'm
your show, Joe.
Okay, I'm gonna lose it. I want to be fair to everybody, but I'm gonna lose it one of these days, people. And you know what? You know what else bothers me?
Go ahead, Joe. Your therapy night.
Talking about trading pass rushers and talking about making tackles guards. That's another thing that bothers me with Jets fans. But that's just me. Ted, before I let you go, give me your thoughts about Zach Wilson, man, and what you saw out of him.
Except for the slip a la Joe Klecko, because Joe Klecko slid too when he walked out. I don't know what was up with that. He just slipped on a line or something. Maybe he had a few cocktails before he came out. Joe, any improvement from Zach is going to be welcomed, and the eyeball test says it all. But he just got to settle in, and he looks more confident. I know he's playing against backups, but let me say one thing about Mekhi, Joe. Mekhi,
go ahead.
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem Mekhi taking himself out. We have 4 preseason games this year, right? We have an extra one.
And he's, like I said, you got to ease the guy in, get him his confidence, but he looks good. If he stays healthy, he's going to be a beast. No, you got to go.
I think he is as well. I know there's a lot of people that are upset. I'm not upset about it as well. Be cautious, but like you said, man, that strength is in that knee. If he stays healthy, boy, those snaps look phenomenal. But listen, Ted, I got to slide off. I got to keep my rant going.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you for calling in. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right?
All right, Joe. Take care, Joe. See you.
All right, have a good one. Listen, I'm sorry. I've had it, dude. I don't understand why Jets fans don't want, like, pass rushers. I don't get it. I don't get it. We have suffered for years not having a significant pass rush. You are in a passing league. The rules are literally slanted for the offense. We all know that. They want to come into your house and put up 70 points. That's what they want to do. If you do not have someone to chase around these top-tier quarterbacks, these upper echelon guys that we're going to face that are in the NFC or in the AFC, or in the NFC, but particularly in the AFC, right? If you do not have somebody to chase around, and Lamar Jackson and Herbert and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and all these guys that are here, what do you think is going to happen to you? They're going to pick you apart. They're going to pick you apart. And I'm also tired of Jets fans saying, well, we don't have a Nick Bosa. So if he's not Nick Bosa, listen, the Bosa brothers are great, right? You got a Bosa in San Francisco. I watch him. He's great, okay? He's a great player. Yeah, he'll get you 17 a year, right? You can pretty much count him in for that 17 a year. But if I have three guys that can give me 8 a year, if I have three guys that can give me 8 sacks a year, I just beat your 17 a year. Come on, guys. Come on. You know, don't try to trade a pass rusher. Keep him. All right? Jeez Louise. I don't. This defense is literally based off of pressure. Okay? I watched San Francisco when Sulla was there. This defense is literally based off of pressure. It's built from front to back, not back to front. It's built from front to back. Warner, Bosa, Phillips, all those guys in San Francisco. I keep naming them. When Sulla was there, he would send them at people and they were killing people. You got to wake up. Pass rush matters in this league. All right? Eagles, 70 sacks. 70. Boy, let me tell you, if you don't think they're trying to get to 80, you're out of your mind. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're getting to the next caller. Please give the stream a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed and hit that notification bell. Next, we're going to Ronald Perry. 732 will come to you next. All right. Other callers as well. Hold on. We'll get to everybody. Damn it, I'm ranting. All right. Perry salutes. I want to thank you for calling in. Before we let Ronald even talk, okay, just know he's a savage. Ronald salutes. I'm going off. I've lost my mind. I'm tired of people wanting to get rid of pass rushers, and I'm tired of Jets fans talking about turning tackles into guards. I've had it. I've had it. Salutes. Okay. Give me your thoughts on what you saw for the Jets, the Browns, and the Hall of Fame game. How did you feel about Zach Wilson? What do you think he did well?
Absolutely. You know, I think Zach definitely showed improvement. You can see that he's learning. You know, I'm not going to say he's ready now, but I could definitely see improvement. I could tell you that much. There's no doubt about that right there. He definitely showed improvement. Cannot lie about that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, I thought he looked good, man. I thought he looked good, and he made some quality throws. What are your thoughts about him? Speaking about Aaron Rodgers and the help that Aaron Rodgers has been giving him, does that bode well for you about what's happening in that quarterback room with the veteran presence of Aaron Rodgers and the leadership that he's been showing?
You know, that is the best thing. That's why I think Zach is showing improvement right now. As a matter of fact, you see Aaron on the sideline looking like a coach. He looked just like a coach. I was like, he was looking so awesome. And like he looked like he belonged there. You know, if he wasn't our QB, I'd be like, that'd be the perfect coach. I mean, he just was running around, looked like he was doing whatever he was doing. Just looked like he was doing it right. And you know, but honestly, before I forget, I was talking to somebody. One of those savages in your chat was telling me about talking about McDonald was a reach. But but you know, it just kind of like it bothered me a little bit. I'm like, a reach, really? Like, Will McDonald is a reach? Like Will McDonald? Like people really don't know about Will McDonald. That's what I think it is. People really don't even know about Will McDonald. They don't even know what he's getting ready to do in this league. I'm telling you, that dude. Yeah. That dude is a beast, and he's gonna show to everybody that he's a beast. And it was a good pick that he picked him up in the first round. Matter of fact, where they picked him at, I really don't think there was a better person to be picked in that. Like from where he was picked. I'm sure there was some better picks, but from where we picked him at, I don't know who would have been a better pick. I really don't know. Yeah, that's honestly speaking. Yeah.
No, listen, and I hear you. Hey, listen, at the end of the day, Broderick Jones wasn't there, okay? I think Broderick Jones probably would have been the pick, but we know the Patriots traded out, so on and so forth. Broderick wasn't on the board. Will McDonald, I thought, was a great pick.
That's what it is.
I don't think he was a reach at all, especially with what you're looking to do and where you're looking to go. Exactly. If you don't have an overbearing pass rush in this league, you're going to lose. If you want to win a Super Bowl, you better have something or some type of plan to kill Patrick Mahomes, because if he's still alive, you're going to lose. if he can live, all right, you're going to lose. Yeah, you're going to lose. We've seen him do it to everybody. We've seen him do it to Pittsburgh in the playoffs recently. We've seen him do it to multiple people. But you know who he didn't do it to? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Why? They killed him.
That's for sure.
Okay? He responds, but they killed him. All right? So, I get it. Some people, and I've had discussions with Jets fans recently that still don't like the pick of Will McDonald and think that, you know, it should have been JSN or somebody else. Listen, pass rush is necessary in this league, and I like that move. So I hear what you're saying, Ronald, and I think that personally that Will McDonald was a solid pick. But as we continue to talk about, you know, the pass rush and what he was bringing to the table, you saw the speed. His ability to get off the blocks were insane. Like, this young kid can move. Has your expectations risen for him going into his rookie season? Like, what do you – I know you had some expectations before, but are they, like, through the roof now for him, now that you see him out there moving and shaking?
To tell you the truth, I really think I'm not even gonna tell you that my expectations changed, because my expectations always been sky high. I mean, I always expected big things from him, and I still expect big things from him. I don't expect nothing less, nothing more. What I expected is what I think we're gonna get as Jet fans. And Will McDonald was a damn good pick, and he's gonna prove it. He's gonna prove it to everybody. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Listen, Ronald, my final question before I let you go, man, you bring in the heat. Give me your thoughts about Mekhi Becton. 20 to 25 snaps is what we thought we were getting, right? That's what Robert Saleh talked about. He only played, I think it was 7 snaps, took himself out, you know, didn't want to agitate the knee, didn't feel it, you know, especially on that turf. How are you feeling about what you saw from him, and what are your thoughts about him pulling himself? Are you upset that he did that?
No, I don't think, I'm not upset. You know, I heard somebody saying earlier when we were talking to you, saying like, or I might have read it in the chat, but somebody was saying that they think that Becton's knee might be shot. And you know what? I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? That's not impossible thought right there. I'm like, that is definitely a possibility. Maybe his knee is shot. Maybe that's why he was so upset at the New York staff, saying, "Oh, why they put me on the right side?" Basically, it's like he's trying to like find somebody to blame it on. Like I really don't know his deal or whatever. But I just don't think that he is what he used to be, and maybe that injury did it. Maybe he's kind of right about them moving him over, or I don't know. You know, only he really knows. I really don't know the situation, but I don't want to say that. I really don't want to say that he's done because I just don't want to give up on Becton. But I could definitely say that's one person where it went from like way up. I used to think like so much of them. Now it's like somewhere in the middle. I'm just not really sure anymore. I really don't know what to expect. No. I don't know if it's going to be great. I don't know if it's going to be good. But I know it's not going to be bad, though. I know it's not going to be bad with that dude, though.
Okay. Listen, I hear you. I don't think his knee is shot. I think, again, he's building confidence back up in that knee, especially, coming off that surgery. He's lost a lot of weight. I think he's just, taking his time, and they're being very careful with him. But as, the preseason continues to play out, time continues to go on, I think he's going to continue to show us what he's going to be able to bring to the table. Listen, Ronald, I got to slide off. I got other callers. Thank you for calling in. Next time I show, I want to hear from you, all right?
All right. No, take it easy, man. Appreciate it.
All right. You have a good one. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. I'm going off. Everybody's going off. Show's off the rails. Next. We're going to go to my guy, Tim. Tim, we're coming directly to you. Chris, we're coming to you next. Other callers as well. Hold on. We'll get to everybody. Tim,
Hello.
Tim, it's time to talk to him. Hold on. Before we even let Tim talk, just know he's a savage. Tim,
Yo. Yeah, I tell it how it is, man. You know the deal.
I know already. Listen. We're talking a lot, man. Jets, Browns last night, right? We're doing a little recap on the game here, talking about guys that impressed us. I want to get your thoughts on what you saw out of Israel Abanikanda, man. I thought this guy really showed a lot of speed. I felt like he could have hit the holes a little bit harder. He was kind of hesitant. How did you feel about his performance?
I remember when I was watching the game, I took specific note on two plays where I saw he was getting the ball because I wanted to keep a close eye on it and just see what I saw, and nothing, I don't really think anything stood out. Now, again, I didn't see every play he was in, so if I missed some big run, I apologize. But the two plays that I saw were medium yardage, but I will say the positive I took out of that, I mean, there was nothing spectacular from a play design perspective or anything like that. But
very
the one thing, exactly. The one thing I did notice about him was his ability to break tackles. I don't really know how strong he is with that yet, but I did notice on the two plays that I did specifically watch him, he was able to break through the first level. Now, he got kind of like shut down pretty quickly as soon as he hit that second level, but I think that was more of a result of lack of blocking. But he did hit the hole pretty well, and he was able to kind of, wiggle his way away from that first tackler, which is such a huge thing. I mean, I think that's an underrated component because if you can shake yourself free of that first tackler, there could be a chance where there's nobody else left to tackle you. So, that's the kind of grit that we want to see. Now, in terms of speed, I don't really know because I didn't see him break through at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he made a run. I forgot what quarter it was, but he made a run outside to the left where he beat a guy. And, I mean, he was moving, and he made a 10-yard run and hit the pylon and was able to get the touchdown. I thought that he looked really good there, and I thought he really
I did see that.
Some burners there. Yeah, he looked really good.
I did see that. Yeah, his speed to the pylon was impressive there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he can move. So, but I hear your assessment of him. He does need to work on some things. I think even Sulla talked about it. He needs to, definitely make his decisions quicker, and when he, stick his foot and go, like stick your foot and go. And I talked about that.
Right.
There were some holes I felt like he could have hit. That he was a little hesitant. If he would have just went, it would have been able to break for bigger stuff. But again, he's a rookie running back. It's the first preseason game. He's going to find his way. But I'm excited about what I saw from him, especially with the catch and him being able to move and shake. Now, another player as well offensively that I watched, and I was like, wow, I'm kind of excited for what he's doing here with Zach Wilson. 3 of 5, 65 yards. led 2 scoring drives, 2 field goals, right? Got 6 points, had a 50-plus yard bomb. What are your thoughts about what you saw out of Zach, and were you impressed with what you saw? Do you see the growth and kind of the evolution of Zach Wilson within this offense?
It's hard, on a general basis, I'll say his overall performance was better than, there has been improvement for sure. But it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell if that improvement is genuine and authentic or not, given that, you're playing a Hall of Fame game, you're playing against a bunch of, backups for the most part. So, just by virtue of him being a second-round draft pick, you have to assume that he's probably better than most, third, fourth rounders and third, fourth stringers. So it is very difficult to look at that game in particular and say, okay, yeah, he's improved, because the looks could be coming slower. You know what I'm saying? Like he could be seeing looks, he could be getting 3 seconds as opposed to 2 seconds, or, you know what I'm saying? So it is hard to tell, because it's not the caliber of what a starting defense would be putting at him in the NFL. So, but yes, to your point, percentage efficiency for passing, very good. Put points on the board for touchdowns as opposed to field goals, which is like, field goals are the bane of Jets fans' existence. So all in all, yeah, I'd say it was a positive performance. I think Aaron Rodgers is rubbing off on him. I think Aaron Rodgers is exactly what Zach Wilson needed. He needed someone to come in and say, hey, I know you're overwhelmed by this league. I don't blame you. If I came in as a second-round draft pick and then all of a sudden had a team on my shoulders, and then all of a sudden I'm in the biggest media market, and then we crash and burn, and he gets completely flattened. Aaron Rodgers comes in and says, hey, kid, keep your chin up. You have a lot of talent. I'll help you. And I think it's working. I mean, my ultimate hope is that Zach Wilson could be a starter for us once Aaron Rodgers leaves. So I mean, I do like the kid.
No, listen, Tim, you're speaking some facts there. That's my hope as well, especially with him being able to sit behind Aaron Rodgers, who's his hero, and then you got Nathaniel Hackett, who's a guy that I think a lot of people forget was in Jacksonville with Blake Bortles, who was trash. Blake Bortles was not a very good quarterback. But when Nathaniel Hackett was there, he had Blake Bortles looking better than he had ever looked in his career, right? So when you have these guys that you can work with that can really play to your strength, it does nothing but bode well for Zach. And I'm hoping that Zach turns out to be the guy that can lead this franchise for the next couple of years, right? We would all hope. I mean, he was an extremely high pick, right? You don't want to waste that draft capital. And, sometimes maybe with some guys it takes a little bit longer. I'm not excusing him for, the bad play that we've seen the last his first 2 years, right? But maybe this is the situation, or not even maybe, this is the perfect situation, like you spoke to as well, for him to be able to turn things around with so much of a support system. And again, not only is he dealing with Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron Rodgers, you got Tim Boyle as well, but he's being able to be coached by Aaron Rodgers as well, a guy that literally built the system with Nathaniel Hackett. So not only is he the guy that's out there playing, I helped build the system, so I can tell you what it's like, just from a coordinator standpoint, and then I can talk to you about what it's like being an on-the-field standpoint, the guy that's running it, the starting quarterback, and what you can expect, what you're going to see. So, yeah, I'm hoping that Zach is going to be able to turn things around. But we'll see. Again, I thought he had a really solid performance. Now, my next question for you, Tim, Mekhi Becton pulled himself out the game after 7 snaps, 7 dominant snaps. He looked really good. What are your thoughts about Becton and what he was able to do out there on the field? And are you upset that he pulled himself out of the game because there was some, a little hesitancy about that knee? They wanted to be cautious with what was going on out there with the turf. How do you feel about the whole situation?
Joe, you know what? I think I've decided to Irish exit this whole Mekhi Becton attention party that we're having here the last couple months. Like, I'm just going to silently leave without telling anybody I'm leaving. I'm just sick of it, dude. I'm sick of it. Like, the guy's either hurt or he's not. He's either going to play or he's not. I don't understand why there's so much drama around it. Like, it's not like he's the first player that had a knee injury. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We talked about this in the past where he's screwed up. Like there was a lot of people like I know you're pulling for him pretty big, and that's great. And I'd love to see what we can see with 6 games in a row from the guy, which we still haven't been able to do. And like he came out and he made some accusations against the Jets organization. So I hope there's no retaliatory kind of behavior on the Jets standpoint. That's illegal, number one. Number two, I'm sure it happens. So, it's troubling because I feel like it's a big distraction for the team. It's at such a key position right now that I don't feel like is getting spoken about enough in general. Like, I feel like all of the media that I've been seeing has been focused around Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. Okay, what about this offensive line? Everybody wants to talk about Elijah Vera-Tucker. Everybody wants to talk about the other guys. We got some veterans, whatever, and this new center that we just got, who might be really good. But at the end of the day, we need depth. We need more than one person at each position that is highly capable, because that's what's going to be required to win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. And is he going to be there for 3 games and then walk off with a sore knee? We can't have that.
Well,
we can't have that.
I hear you, Tim. I hear you. I don't think that I personally, right, and I hear what you're saying, but I personally don't think that's going to be a situation. I think, and I understand what you're saying, all right? There's a lot of Jets fans. I went back and forth with a lot of people that were like, come on, man, he should have played the rest of the snaps or whatever. But I look at it like this. It's a preseason game. The field was whatever the field was. There were guys flipping around out there. And if he looked at it, just like the trainers did as well, and of course he talked about feeling it, in warm-ups as well on that turf. And they said, okay, well, go ahead and let him, sit down. I'm fine with that because, again, this is a preseason game. I don't want him to go out there and hurt himself or make the situation way worse than what it is, and then we miss him, for however long a time. We've had that happen in the past, right? But I tell you what, Tim, the snaps that he was out there, he looked really dominant. And that looked like it was showing he looked a lot like the Mekhi Becton I remember the rookie year. So as he continues to build strength in that knee, continues to build confidence within that knee, I'm excited to see that. I do understand why there are people that are making their exits, or they're just like, come on, like, let's wait and see. But again, preseason, hopefully, we'll continue to see more from him. He's come out and talked about, he has no issues moving to right tackle. He lined up at left tackle last night. And so we'll see what happens as we continue forward. But like you said as well, the offensive line does have a lot of questions on it, and I've been a guy that's been talking about it. I know everybody is talking about Dwayne Brown, who was decent for us last year, right? But he's still on the PUP to this point. He's still on the PUP list as of right now. As I'm live. Maybe they did it 5 minutes ago. Maybe they took him off. I don't know. But as of right now, from what I know, he's still on the PUP list, and he ain't been out there. And I know that there are some people that was jumping on Max Mitchell because of what they saw in the preseason game, right? So there's some questions at both tackle spots. We knew that. I talked about that before the draft, and there's still some questions now. Of course, Broderick Jones is not here. So we'll see what happens and how things shake out. But I do think that the offensive line is something we absolutely have to keep our eyes on this upcoming season. And, because it's going to, again, we got Aaron Rodgers here. We don't want him getting his head taken off, and he's a guy that needs to be protected. Now, he can get the ball out of his hands very quickly. It is A-Rod. But still, you know what I'm saying? You want to make sure that you're blocking effectively for him. So I see your concerns there, Tim. Now, if we can,
I got a quick question,
go ahead.
Joe. I got a quick question for you.
Go ahead.
Why do you think the Jets didn't? Now, I know obviously, they can only get so many players, and they can only get so many draft picks, and they can only get so many focused target players that they want in the draft. Yeah. And maybe there wasn't a whole lot available in free agency, but I'm still sitting here I'm just scratching my head. Like, we had, going into the offseason, we had the defensive rookie of the year, the offensive rookie of the year. We were fairly we were fairly confident who we wanted to go get on the wide receiver side to supplement Wilson, and it really wasn't going to be super expensive in McCole Hardman and Lazard. And then and then we had most of the pieces on defense already in place, maybe looking to add some depth at the linebacker and edge position, but mostly in place. So for me, offensive line is by far the biggest thing. You got Hall of Fame quarterback coming in. You know, he's old, so you don't want him to get hit. No. So why, my question for you, Joe, is why did they not think that it was important to add 2 more super large human beings that we can at least get a few snaps out of if something happens? Because look, what happened last year? Elijah Vera-Tucker went down, Mekhi Becton went down. Both of those things could happen again this year, and we have no replacements.
Well,
and it's like everybody's still thinking about Super Bowl. And well, guess what, guys? We're not going to go anywhere at all, regardless of our weapons. I mean, we might scrounge out a few wins with Aaron Rodgers running for his life and throwing a Hail Mary, but that's no way to win a Super Bowl. So what are we doing here, guys? Like, I don't hear anybody caring about it, talking about it. It's all about Mekhi Becton's knee. Okay, well, forget him for a minute. What are we doing here? I mean, we should have the absolute best offensive line in the league, bar none, if that's what you're going to try to do and put Aaron Rodgers behind it. Like, what are we doing?
Well, listen, Tim, and I hear you. And I think that there were 2 modes of thought. I think there was a lot of people that look at last season and think that a lot of the issues, particularly along the line, of course, there was a lot of injuries, right? We all know that. That line was diced up. We were down to our 3rd, 4th guys, right? So we're getting guys back now. But I think they also look at it like A-Rod is going to be able to get the ball out of his hands quicker than Zach Wilson was. So that's going to deplete a lot of issues as far as pressure, right? That's one thing. The second thing is they were in, I remember free agency, the name escapes me, but they were in on some tackles, but they didn't end up with them. But we did add some guys. Carter Warren, we got him in the draft. I know everyone keeps trying to tell me that we were not targeting Broderick Jones. And stop. Please stop, everybody. Okay? This is not something I made up. We wanted Broderick Jones. He didn't end up being a Jet. That's fine. But stop acting like the Jets were not trying to get Broderick Jones. I wanted to stop. But we did end up with Carter Warren and Billy Turner as well. Remember, Billy Turner's a veteran tackle. He's a veteran journeyman tackle, and he knows this system through and through. He knows Nathaniel Hackett, knows what he's bringing up, knows what's up. So we did add some guys, but they're not the big superstar names, and I understand exactly what you're saying and where you're coming from, Tim. You want the best offensive line for, probably the best quarterback. You could argue he might be the best quarterback we've ever had in our franchise history, right? That's what
the most important piece of our team, bar none.
Yeah, completely right. But, as we continue forward, again, we'll see what happens with Dwayne Brown. He's still on the pup. We'll see what happens with Mekhi Becton. He's still building strength in that knee. But there is some questions up front. I know we talk about the tackles all the time, but what about a guy like Laken Tomlinson? He was awful last year. Is he going to be better this season? Right? You look at that center position as well. Connor McGovern. Connor McGovern is not good. Joe Tippmann, young guy, rookie. Can he step in and grab that spot? To this point, he's really been working with the third stringers, right? So I don't know what's happening there, right? So there's a lot of battles, and this is what I've been talking about this, and a lot of people have been telling me to.
I feel like nobody's talking about it, Joe. Nobody's talking about it.
People have been telling me to shut up, right? But yeah, there's absolutely some questions there, and so there is some credence to your point. But listen, Tim, I gotta slide off. My lines are hot. Thank you for calling in. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you. All right?
Yeah, man. Great talking to you. Go Jets, man. Have a good night.
Absolutely. Salute. Woo! Listen, we're going to keep getting to these lines. The lines are hot. 515-602-9639. Again, 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. I'm taking all callers. I lost it earlier. This show is off the rails. Next, I'm going to Chris, man. I'm coming directly to Chris. Chris, salute. I want to thank you for calling in. Before we let Chris even talk, Chris is a savage, man. Savage! 631-562. We'll come to you guys in a second. Chris salutes. Listen, Chris, I've been going back and forth with people. Give me your thoughts about this situation with Mekhi Becton pulling himself after the game, out of the game, excuse me.
All right.
Go ahead,
so
give me your thoughts.
I guess this guy Tim, right? and he's talking about Mekhi Becton. You know, let me just say, Mekhi Becton is in a contract year, and he's going to take every precaution he can to get on the field. And everybody's talking about the offensive line. Oh, the offensive line, like the offensive line was trash. Well, how come Garrett Wilson got 1,000 yards last year with 6 quarterbacks if the offensive line was so terrible? How did Breece Hall get all those yards? If everybody was so bad, right? And then you got to understand, you can have everybody playing up on the line, blitzing. That tears on your quarterback. You know what I'm saying? I dare you to put 8 in the box against Aaron Rodgers. I dare you to do that, right? So now you have weapons. Now you have to spread out your passing lanes. Now you have to spread out the whole thing. So, you know, talking about the Jets offensive line, I don't think because injury, because, you know, you had injuries, it's record injuries. You had like 8 guys on injury, and then, you know, that helped out, that hurt the offensive line. But Garrett Wilson still was a 1,000-yard receiver.
Mm-hmm. No, listen, Chris, and I hear what you're saying, right? Garrett Wilson was phenomenal for us last season, but our running game was awful, right? Our running game was awful. And what is that?
Yeah, but that was after.
Listen, that was after there were some injuries, right? We saw them. ATV went down, right? A little bit later, we saw guys go down.
Right.
But I still think that the offensive line is a question mark. I think everybody has the right to say that they're a concern, right? I'm not saying that they're the bottom of the barrel or they're the worst in the league, but they absolutely are correct to having concern, especially when you look at the situation. I just talked about it. Dwayne Brown, everybody's saying, well, Dwayne Brown's going to be starting left tackle. We don't have to worry about that. He's still on the PUP list. He ain't been out there. We just finished our first preseason game. He's on the PUP.
Right.
And again, Dwayne Brown isn't like a top-tier tackle in the league. He's okay. He's solid. He's decent.
Yeah.
But he's still on the PUP. And then you got questions as well on the other side. Okay, let's say Mekhi Becton wins the left tackle position. What do you do with Dwayne Brown? He's never played right tackle in his entire career.
Right.
So then who do you turn to? Is Max Mitchell going to be the right tackle? Right. Is it going to be Billy Turner? Right? And even if, let's say you put Max Mitchell there, there's questions with Max Mitchell. Max Mitchell is coming back off of a knee injury and blood clots. Can he stay healthy a full season? Hell, that's still a question with Dwayne Brown. Can he stay healthy a full season? He wasn't healthy last season. So there's questions there, and that's why I say these questions are credible. I'm just here to listen to the people. You know, I go back and forth.
Right.
But I will say that the questions about the offensive line are credible, especially when you look at Laken Tomlinson, who was trash last year. Is he going to be better? Who's going to be the Jets starting center? Is it going to be Tippmann or McGovern? Last time we saw McGovern, he was trash too.
Right.
So those are my questions. But I'm just saying, offensive line is a concern. Go ahead, Chris.
I mean, it is a concern. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's a great, but I give guys credit. Last year they did the best that they could, and if you have a Hall of Fame quarterback, that makes your whole offense better. I mean, Tom Brady did it for years. Can you name his 5 offensive linemen that was on his thing? So a great quarterback makes the team better all around him. It's just not just the thing, and you have weapons and you have other things, and you have schemes where you can actually scheme scheme these guys free. And you got good running backs that take lanes. You got screens. You got a lot of stuff that's there. So the offensive line can be utilized in many ways. So, like I said, I understand people's concern about it, but you know, this is a different guy. I mean, I'm sure that you know they sat down in this and they went over this many times, and I think that $30 million that Rodgers is there, they can go get somebody if they, in the case they need to help, you know. But I think that's
no. Listen, and I hear you, and I'm hoping again. We'll see what happens if things continue to play out. I'm still a guy that's thinking that Mekhi Becton can really push to be the Jets left tackle. People call me delusional. I'm
no,
you're
not
snaps that he took, those snaps that he took in that preseason game, he looked phenomenal to me. But I think, the situation's still evolving, and we'll see how it plays out. But the offensive line, to me, is a concern. And I understand what you're talking about with Brady and those things, but I remember when Aaron Rodgers was in Green Bay, and that offensive line was sketchy, and he was getting hit, and he was getting hurt a lot. A lot, okay? And that's not something I want to see. But, again, there's another mode of thought where, hey, if he's getting the ball out of his hands quickly, which he will, he's going to be all right, you know? So we'll see as we continue forward, right? Now, we're talking about that offensive line and the situation there. Give me your thoughts about Zach Wilson and what you saw out of him. Were you impressed with the throws and things that he did out there?
All right, Zach was pretty good last night. And here's the thing I'm going to tell you, and you're going to understand it more than anybody else, right? You in LA and you out there. Phil Jackson had the triangle offense, right? So when he brought it,
him and Texas,
the triangle offense was the whole thing about the basketball, and it was supposed to be the greatest offense. So when he brought it to New York, it didn't work. It wasn't great. Our players wasn't good around, but the triangle offense was supposed to be the offense. The telling thing about Zach Wilson is that if they can build, and this is for any quarterback, can you build an offense around him that highlights his strengths and hides his weaknesses? Because if you can't do that, then the quarterback's going to struggle. So the telling tale about Zach Wilson is that if he's going to be this system that take off with it. But he looked pretty good last night, and maybe and that's going to look bad on Mike LaFleur because I like to rewind Zach Wilson for a minute. You look when his first year when he brought in his quarterback coach and they start running a lot of plays. He didn't look bad at all, to be honest with you. And everybody was like, "Wow, this guy is really good," because they start doing some of the plays and stuff that he was familiar with. And then Mike LaFleur brought in his whole offense, and it didn't work. So it's going to be telling tale to see if this offense that they're building suits him quickly. He can take off, man, if it's good. So he looked pretty good last night.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Zach has had his struggles. Mike LaFleur, of course, that was the quarterback that him and Sulla brought in off the back and drafted. But he's struggled upstairs. He struggled identifying defenses. He struggled with things like that. But moving forward now, because we know he was horrible last season, and I'm a Zach guy, but I keep it real because I'm a realist, right? He was awful. Right. He couldn't recognize things that were coming. He was just bad. He was forcing footballs where they didn't belong, and he wasn't playing safe football. That's what got him benched initially, and then the reset and stuff like that. But I will say this. Nathaniel Hackett is a guy that can put an offense together, and especially, again, with him sitting behind Aaron Rodgers' hero and being able to be groomed and evolved and just being, immersed within this offense with a guy who built it and a guy who's going out there and running it, I think it's going to do a world of good for Zach Wilson, especially when he has Aaron Rodgers in his ear. So my final question for you, Chris, before I let you go, what player on defense impressed you the most in this game?
The defense?
Yeah.
Bryce Huff.
Okay.
Bryce Huff.
Okay.
He looks like he I gotta say two. Bryce Huff and Will McDonald. I gotta leave those two. Bryce Huff looks like a real player. He looks a real pass rusher. If we don't bring in any significant free agents, some of that money is gonna go to him. And we're gonna probably have to re-sign that guy, barring anything else. And Will McDonald looks like the younger version of Chandler Jones. And for this defense, that's a scary thing. If you got Jermaine Johnson, you got Quentin Williams, you got Carl Lawson, who's always you got Bryce Huff, and you got somebody like Chandler Jones in the backfield, you're going to be running for your life as a quarterback. So the Jets have definitely a good pass. And listen, at the end of the day, some people mad that the Jets lost the game. They pretty much shut out the Cleveland thing. So.
Man, don't get me started on people hitting me up mad about the Jets losing a damn preseason game. I'm telling you, Chris.
What do you expect? What do you expect out of preseason game? Really? Really, man. It's practice. It's basically a pre-made practice. You don't lose in
Chris,
practice.
It's my blood, Chris. I gotta slide off. I got other callers.
Next
time I have a show, I want to hear from you. All right. All right. Listen, Chris called in with some fire. We're going to keep getting to these lines, 515-602-9639. Show's getting low. This is a 2-hour show. We got about 20 minutes left, but we're going to get to everybody, trust. Next, we're going to go to my guy, Bill. Bill, we're coming to you. Rusty, we're coming to you next, so hold on, Rusty. Believe me, we're going to get to everybody. Bill salutes. Okay, before we let Bill even talk, just know that Bill is a savage. Savage! Bill salutes. I want to thank you for calling in. Listen, Bill, I done gone back and forth. This show was off the rails earlier. All right. Give me your thoughts about the situation with Mekhi Becton and him pulling himself after, a couple snaps due to him wanting to be cautious with his knee. How are you feeling about that?
Big Joe, thanks for having me. First of all, thanks. It was good to speak to you again. It's been a little bit. But, Mekhi Becton pulling himself out of the game. If he blew out his knee, what would everyone say? So, you can't please the fans. He's got to take care of himself. He's got to be smart.
That's a really good
and
point.
The coaching staff, they have to be smart also. So they know what they're doing. It's preseason. It's the first game. Why do we care? Let him get strong. Let him get fine. Let him get healed again. He'll be out there. We didn't see Aaron Rodgers. Everyone talk about Aaron Rodgers. Why didn't he play? Of course not. We don't know. We know he doesn't need to play. Okay, I got a little reps in there. Shook it off a little bit. He'll be fine. Not an issue.
Yeah. That was a darn good point, Bill. That was a darn good point. I said a lot of different things. I would not say that. If he would have jacked his knee up, then what would you say? That's a darn good point. Now, we continue on, right? Zach Wilson. What were your thoughts out of what you saw from him?
Good. Good enough. Good enough. It's what we wanted to see. Him go out there. He had a couple of options where he had to kind of go through his progression. He did. He didn't panic and run. When he did run, he slipped, which was, not his fault. The field was a mess. But it was positive. Again, people are getting a little excited. We're not going to see him all year. He's taking a red shirt. If we see him, that means Rodgers is hurt. So, well, that's not good, but maybe we get to keep our first-round pick. But nobody really wants to see – as much as we love Zach, nobody wants to see him play this year. So keep him loose out there. He'll keep growing. He'll get his confidence up there. You saw a lot of good shots out there of him sitting next to Aaron sitting down talking to him, walking him through some plays, and that's the kind of thing we needed out of this entire relationship. Get a couple of years of Rodgers playing, then we have that residual effect of him teaching and getting Zach up to speed, and then we see what we have when it's his turn.
Yeah. When you saw the Jets defense, man, what were your thoughts about the performance that they put out there? I identified guys. We talk about Bryce Huff, Will McDonald. I was kind of impressed when we saw Sherwood as well, especially when you look at our linebacker position and the question marks that are there. When you watch, what were some of the guys you saw and you were like, wow, they really shined for you?
Yeah, I agree with you on the linebacker side, Sherwood. These guys are going to be rotational maybe in the linebacker core, but the guys in the defensive line, we knew we had a lot of depth there. We got to see that. Everyone's talking about McDonald with the spin move. We talk about Bryce Huff getting through there. Jermaine Johnson, I don't know if everyone saw how he's getting held all night. One guy has been the face mask. There was an instant replay, slow motion of it was on Huff, I guess, when he was going in for his hit. But I'm looking, and the offensive line says a handful of face mask of Johnson. So that's kind of stuff we need to see. He gets off the line fast. They can't stop him, and they're going to have to do whatever they can to get in front of our guys, and that's going to make it easier for the linebackers in the secondary. So, yeah, it was really encouraging. The guys we expected to see shine shown a little bit. But again, we got to remember these are again second tier guys. These are not the starters of the Browns, but I think from what we saw, especially from defensive line, linebackers, they're flying around. They were getting where they need to get. Very encouraging. So looking forward to seeing them grow in that.
Yeah. Listen, Bill, you're bringing some heat. My final question before I let you go, man, because you're really you're bringing it right now. Give me a guy on offense and a guy on defense that you're going to be keeping your eyes on for the next upcoming preseason game that we're going to have.
Definitely Will McDonald. They had him out there. A decent amount of snaps, so I definitely want to see how he performs going forward. Everyone had the whole thing about him being smaller. That was a big concern about him. But if you watch him at Iowa State, he played in a 3-4 and a true 3-4, so it wasn't like he was in a 4-3 where he had, he was a wide guy. He was played inside more. He took on bigger guys. Some take on a couple of double teams. So the guy's a lot of heart, a lot of energy. So I want to see him keep up that stamina to wear down offensive linemen. And then on the defensive side, on the offensive side, I think Tippmann. I want to see Tippmann. Tippmann, because everyone's kind of they're wondering about what's going on there. It's hard for everyone to figure out what's going on with the offensive lineman that's in the middle. We need to kind of get some commentators to kind of tell us what we see out there. But I just wanted to see some more of him. Again, how he works and grows with the guys on the left and right of him. It's going to be tough because people are kind of judging him, but he's not going to have Vera Tucker and Tomlinson next to him, which he's going to have throughout the year, and that's going to it's going to be a lot easier to see his performance during the season versus now when he has a couple of guys next to him who are going to be backups, and they don't have that sync that they've been working on in the first team in practice. So he may get a lot of people kind of question marks and whatnot, but they have to keep that in mind. He's not playing next to the guys he's been practicing next to and he's going to play with during the year. So we just really have to watch him closely, I guess.
Yeah, listen,
That's
Bill,
it.
this
Yeah.
was a great call from you, man. You really brought it. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you. Call in next time, man. I definitely want to talk to you again. It's been a little bit.
I'll call in earlier.
It's been a little bit.
Then they're trying to get dinner ready for the kids, man, but I'll call you in earlier next time.
All right, listen, respect. So salute to respect to your kids. Children are a blessing. Listen, Bill, thank you for calling in. I got to slide off, all right?
All right, brother. Talk to you.
All right, you have a good one. Listen, Bill bringing some fire. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. Before we come, Rusty, you are next. We're going to go to Jigga Man. Jigga Man in the chat. Salute, Savage. Jigga Man says, Long Beach, Joe, how you doing? What are your thoughts on Dolphins fans or Packers fans who say Billy Turner is trash and often injured? Listen, Billy Turner is a veteran journeyman tackle. All right, he's a guy that's moving and shaking. He understands the offense here with Nathaniel Hackett. We'll see what we get when he comes here, because I remember a lot of people had a lot of stuff to say about Dwayne Brown, right, before he stepped in here and played left tackle for us, and he played, pretty solid for us last season, all right, when he was out there. So guess what? That's what Billy Turner's coming in here to do. If something happens, we got it pulled in, or he might be able to snatch that right tackle spot. There's a lot of talk about that he could end up snatching that spot. There's a lot of rotations and stuff going on, but as of right now, in my opinion, he's a guy that's going to be a quality backup here, a guy that can move and shake, and again, he understands this offense through and through. So Packers, Dolphins fans, listen, I got enough Packers fans on me as it is, all right? Those guys be trying to bother me constantly. I pay them no mind, all right? But they have been trying to get at your boy, all right? I got at them, and then they tried to get at me, so it's been going back and forth. But for the most part, I keep my mind. It's just a lot of hate. We got Aaron Rodgers now. They want to hate on me. Whatever it is, what it is, all right? But salute to Jigga Man. We're going to get back to these lines again, 515-602-9639. Final caller of the night, my guy Rusty. We're coming directly to him. Listen, for those of you that do not know, Rusty, he's a savage.
Salutes, Joe and fellow savages.
Listen, salutes, Rusty. The show's winding down as I've been going off. People wanting to trade pass rushers. They want to turn tackles into guards.
Yeah, you've been taking a beating.
Man, I've been going off. I've been going off on people, Rusty. I've been going off on people. You know what I'm saying? I got Packers fans attacking me. As far as I'm concerned, they're all.
The Acme Packers. They're like Wile E. Coyote with the Acme Rockets, saying nothing. It's going to blow up in their face.
Yeah, they're just not going to stop. Listen, Rusty, time's getting short. Give me your thoughts about Zach Wilson and the performance that you saw from him against the Browns.
I liked it. It was mental progression. He didn't do the dumb stuff. Of course he hit the talented stuff, and then too, what a lot of people are saying also on that bomb pass that he did to Taylor, he had more of like a dart arc, if you like a dart arch, if you will, or whatever, on that ball. Because usually he could chuck it, but he lets him hang. You know what I mean? To where the guy's got to slow down a little bit. And Taylor was hitting, he hit him in stride with that. So, and he wasn't freaking out. It was good. It was a good mental progression for him. I liked it. Got 6 points, whatever. What we got Greg the Leg. I hope, knock on wood, we finally got a kicker. But see what happens with that.
Yeah, listen, I thought Zach looked good out there as well. Like you said, went through his progressions, handled business. But there was a lot of people also looking at the offensive line, talking about Mekhi. Quickly, give me your thoughts about him pulling himself from the game, feeling, being cautious with the knee. Are you a Jets fan that was upset with that?
It stinks, but, as a person that had that sort of knee injury, and then, kudos to him also. It takes a lot because, then you're viewed one way, but that other guy was right. Like, what if he got injured? Didn't say nothing. Like, I got it, Now all of a sudden now he's done. To where he, like, hopefully it was, like how people get stingers. It happens with that. Like, it's weird. So, I mean, and they were also playing on a high school field. The NFL should, like, pay those kids or that school mad money and, like, put a respectable field on. You know, like, really? It's a Hall of Fame game, and you're going to play at a high school field? That isn't, I don't know. But, I respect him for it. You know, that takes balls, bro. That takes huevos. You know, because he was going to catch flack for it. What he did 7 out of the 20 to 25. So, yeah. I mean, it stinks, but I like it because we're saving him now. You know, like, go ahead, save yourself. It's your business, literally. He's an independent contractor. That's what all these NFL players are. You know, you have to, the team's there, but you have to look out for you so you can be part of the team. You know?
Yeah. No, listen,
that makes sense.
I hear your take there, and I kind of spoke the same thing. I want him to be cautious with the knee. He's still building strength in it, still building confidence in it. But when he was out there, in those snaps, he looked very dominant, and the movement is there.
He was eye-hopping it.
But again, it takes time. So my final question for you, Rusty, because you bring in the heat, man. Give me a guy that you saw defensively, out there that wowed you. Was a guy, or maybe give me 2 guys, that you were like, wow, I'm excited to see these guys going into the season?
Happily wowed, and I talked about him. I'm surprised not a lot of people did, too. And that's Trey Dean, man. He got 15 tackles, bro.
Yeah.
That's, I like, Florida, the Gators as far as, like, college, but I'm skeptical just with defensive guys in Florida, JJ, Hopefully he makes that pass, that just negates that, and then it just, blossoms on to Dean. I like him, man. Mm-hmm. I think that he's going to make the team and eventually be a safety. He's smart. And as far as the other defensive guy, Surratt, he surprised me, man. Mm-hmm. Surratt looks good. It's just hopefully those injuries stay away from him.
Yeah. I hope they do. Listen, Rusty, you're getting short on time. Your blog talk like to hate on you, boy. I want to thank you for calling in. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right?
No doubt. Absolutely. Salute Joe and salute fellow Savages. Let's go, Jets.
Yeah, absolutely. Woo! This was a hot show, okay? For those of y'all that are new, I know I have new callers, new viewers. Salute and respect to all of you. Welcome. It's a 2-hour show, man. Okay? And we go hot, man. All right? So I'm going to go ahead and close out the show now. What a show. All right? Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on the Long Beach Joe Show, on Twitter as well. Go on over to Twitter. Type in @The Long Beach Joe, @The Long Beach Joe on Twitter. Okay? Follow me. I'll follow you right back. And you'll troll me. No issues. I am the troll that lives under the bridge, and I will have my Vera Tucker jersey on at all times. Ugh. At all times. Okay? Elijah Vera Tucker is going to dominate people this upcoming season. All right? I mean, that's just what we do at USC, right? Right? If you need a good offensive lineman, you need a good player, just go to USC, and that's all you got to worry about, all right? Fight on, okay? So I'll be down there with Vera Tucker, trolling, all right? Personal page on Twitter is @YoungJ000, that's 3 zeros. Follow me. We can go back and forth. I'm also on YouTube as well, okay? Come on over to YouTube. Type in Long Beach Joe Jets, Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. Okay, subscribe, hit that notification bell, thumbs up button, all right? Share the content across social media as well with your friends and your family. And if you want to troll me on YouTube, get in those comments, okay? Troll me, and we can go back and forth. And as always, people, when I see you in person, because I will see you in person, okay, eventually, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone. Free hugs for everyone that will cost you absolutely nothing, all right? No matter what anyone tells you, the hugs will always remain free. I want to thank you folks for listening. I want to thank you folks for talking. I want to thank you folks for calling in. I want to thank you folks for interacting with your boy any way that you do. It is greatly appreciated, all right? So until the next show, you folks have a good one. Peace.